Very good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. As we speak, precisely on 11th November 2020, around 3 a.m. Singapore timing, I would be covering a very important topic, which is US elections. I understand I was away from YouTube for 7 or 8 days and got several hundred messages from the people, but now back in action. Because of some reason, I was not present on YouTube, now back in action. But before I proceed, I would like to tell you something very important. The ETF handbook. This is not the only book which we ordered from Amazon. We ordered around 15 plus books. The total cost of each book is around 7,000 to 8,000 Indian rupee. And we are covering a hell lot of topic. With this and our practical knowledge of Reuters and foreign exchange, Treasury Consulting is set to enter the ETF market. By the way, if I tell you the total asset under management in the ETF across the globe, then you would be very surprised because this is bigger than the GDP of many countries of the globe. So my journey of ETF started now and I am taking this further. Let's move and initiate a very important topic, which is US elections. So guys, US elections are done. We envisage Donald Trump will win. It happens, Donald Trump not won the game. Statistically, not officially. Statistically speaking, Biden is around 290 plus, while Donald Trump is around 214 plus. But Donald Trump is claiming that he is going ahead with the Supreme Court of United States to claim the victory because according to him, there are some issues with the votes. And I'm sure he would definitely go ahead to the Supreme Court, and according to the various sources like Bloomberg TV, some interviews, Reuters, public articles and all, Supreme Court might taking some time to decide. The last time it happened in 2000 where Supreme Court took around 3 to 4 weeks of time, but somehow in between the market tanked by more than 7%, which is a big number, by the way, more than 7%, which is a completely big number, to be honest. But I'm really not worried who is going to win, whether Donald Trump is going to be winning or Biden would be winning, because the journey ahead is really tough for the next president. So I would be raising few concerns about the US elections. Number one, which I would be raising, and I'm raising my point assuming that Biden will come into the picture. So number one, which I am raising, is definitely the US-China relationship. I think it's hats off the way Trump manages China, especially the TikTok deal, the tariffs, phase one, phase two, phase three. But unfortunately, forget phase two and phase three, phase one not yet done. And now Trump is going, there are wide speculated questions which are around that, whether phase one is reconsidered or not, or there are some articles which are suggesting that phase one plus phase two plus phase three or the complete deal as a package would be reconsidered by the Biden administration. This is definitely not easy. The reason is this would not only have a denting impact on the commodities but also on the base metals. This will also have an impact on CNY, which is onshore Chinese yuan, and CNH, which is offshore Chinese yuan. This would have an impact on GBP, Euro, Indian rupee, Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, and whatnot. Not easy. And most important question is Biden is really in a situation to handle this deal? I don't think so. The way Trump administration handled this deal, I really don't think so that Biden administration able to handle this deal. But time will tell. But this deal, or alternatively speaking, the success and winning of this deal is really very important. And I really don't think that it is easy for any administration to handle this deal in a nicest way, to be honest. Let it be honest and straightforward, in a nicest way. Second important thing which I wanted to raise is definitely the military relationship of US. Alternatively speaking, military spending. During the Trump administration, a lot of times a question was raised that US is increasing the military spending. And I don't think that though Trump did fairly well while as a president of United States, but as far as the budget deficit control is concerned and Federal Reserve balance sheet is concerned, I really doubt Trump even did fairly well. The budget deficit of US grew, US balance sheet ballooned, and please don't ask me about the Federal Reserve because the Federal Reserve balance sheet right now is way above the GDP of most of the South Asian countries of the globe. How Biden would be handling this? US debt was growing during Obama, media was silent. US debt grew during the second phase of Obama, media was silent. US debt grew during Trump administration, media was silent. And now we will see whether Biden would be having a magic wand to control this or not. But chances are highly limited because geopolitical escalations across the globe will definitely keep you at par or on the toes as far as the defense spending is concerned. And guys, more importantly, we need to understand that the stimulus talk not yet done. Since stimulus talk is not yet done, so the first important task before the Biden administration, provided the matter is not heading as a sub judice to Supreme Court of Singapore, Supreme Court of US, is the stimulus. Republicans tried hard, but they failed. And we are forgetting that there are three institutions we have in US. One is GOP, Senate, and White House. I agree, Biden is controlling the White House, but GOP and Senate is still very much in the control of Republicans. Trump did fairly well in terms of pushing stimulus. And Republican and Democrats, shortly known as Dems in US parlance, they also did fairly well in terms of not approving this stimulus. And now it is reverse. And I hope you are getting what I mean to say. The more delay in this stimulus, the more US economy will drag. And more than the question of delay, the question is the money, from where the money will come. Deficit financing, ballooning of Federal Reserve balance sheet. Hey guys, Federal Reserve also have their own limits. Third and very important questions which I tried raising several times in YouTube videos. During the presidential debate and I can say vice presidential debate, one question which was not raised is the Federal Reserve future. I'm not saying that whether Mr. Powell will continue to be Federal Reserve head, he will get extension or he will not get extension. I'm not asking this question. What I'm really asking is whether Federal Reserve will get the authority or the freedom or not. That's very important. Mr. Powell also raised this question a lot of times. Most importantly, the Federal Reserve balance sheet is also a concern. Whether the current Biden and Kamala Harris administration is a competent or end up as a competent administration to handle this, that's very important. I give Trump 10 out of 10 for making sure this happened. In Trump administration, the top bankers of top banks joined the government bodies. They came as an advisors, and we understand that the top bankers are always knowledgeable, not all bankers. That is the reason the way Federal Reserve handled this crisis, 2020 coronavirus crisis, was far better than they handled 2008 crisis. I think if I rate out of 10, then in 2020 coronavirus crisis, Federal Reserve at least get 8, 8.5. While in case of 2000, I really doubt they would deserve 1 out of 10. They just let it happen. Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, American Insurance Group, Citibank, JP, and list is very long, guys. Taxpayer money was like, it was washed, and even unaccounting washing. So that we all understand. And very important thing, which is fourth, regulation. COVID-19 is slowly coming off. We are speaking on 11th November 2020. And I'm really very surprised that when on 9th November, Pfizer came in public domain and said about their study, market was like, oops. Gold crashed more than 80 points and silver only 1.5 big figures. The biggest question is, if today I'm speaking to you 11th, I'm looking at my Bloomberg TV and also on my Reuters platform, there are questions being raised about the Pfizer study. And guys, do you know, even after all these actions and reactions, Pfizer's share price is, check it out. Had it been India, Pfizer's share price would be more than 20,000. And sometimes I really fail to understand the valuation of the pharmaceutical companies within India. And if I compare this valuation outside India, it's a way above. I think several times. My question, very important here is, and that is what really matters, is that during this coronavirus, and of course soon coronavirus will go. We understand that. It's not like the coronavirus will definitely never go. Coronavirus will go. And some study is suggesting that by next spring it would be available. But the question is not that. The question is, once coronavirus will go, all pending bank regulations will come into the action. Fundamental review of trading book, SFTR, MiFID II, LIBOR reform. And why are we forgetting, guys? Basel III 2023. Is the American banking system is really in a position to handle all this? We need to see. Because one thing where I completely not in the favor of Trump administration is that during his era, there were very limited, I would say, changes done in the banking system. Very limited compared to what I envisaged. And that is one of the reason, you can say that one of the reason is the last year of the Trump administration was stinged by coronavirus. They can even take this as an excuse. Maybe Biden can also take this as an excuse that his first year is stinged by or might be stinged by coronavirus. But what about the next 3 years? Sometimes I think that US banks is in position to take the fresh regulation. Sometimes I think no, they are not in a position to take a fresh regulation. But at the end of the day, would Biden administration be able to make radical changes in the banking administration? That's more important. Do not forget that several mess up events happened in the US banking in the last 4 years. Do not forget this. And last and very important point that we really need to understand very well, which is US relationship or US viewpoint on the visa norms. You know, when the counting was going on, I was talking to somebody and he said that, Rahul, I give you in writing that if Biden come, then Indian IT companies stocks will zoom by 10%. I was like, why? Do you think that the circulars or the notices or the curbs which Donald Trump did on HIV-1 or the various kind of visas will be removed by Biden as soon as he will join the White House? What do you think? Do you think that it would be easy for Indian companies to work in US compared to what it was when Trump was president? And today, when statistically speaking, Biden is a president and he and Kamala Harris changed their Twitter bio, I really don't think that IT companies' stocks in India is moving the way it was envisaged. That's more important. But my question is not whether the stocks will move or not, because that's a completely different thing and we will handle as per the situation. But my question is really very clear, and that is whether Biden administration is going to follow the same path of Trump or not. If yes, then definitely there are issues for IT company. And if no, then Biden administration need to ensure that there are appropriate jobs for Americans. Because one good thing which at least many Americans will acknowledge is the quantity of the jobs increased during Trump administration. That's more important. Will this continue in Biden? We need to see. And last but not the least is the tax policies. I am a corporate. I'm looking to set my organization in US. I'm waiting that coronavirus end up and I go to London and US to set up my entities. I'm waiting. But Biden administration is not conducive as far as the tax reforms are concerned compared to Donald Trump. But it is very early to say that. Let Biden join the White House and let him face the realities, and then we will see whether he will continue to stick to his words about tax. If yes, then there are many issues on the cards. This would end up two repercussions. Number one, many American top players like Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, top five, would they invest more money in Southeast Asia like Singapore, India, maybe Dubai and all? Or they will continue to stick to US? And that is really very important thing. That is really very important thing. So overall, if we summarize the situation, then statistically speaking, Biden is an president-elect. Kamala Harris is the vice president US as of now. I don't know what would happen if Trump will go to court, or maybe he will not go to court. But there are many things which we need to consider. The geopolitical issues, freedom of Federal Reserve balance sheet, deficit financing of the US, stimulus, Republicans control on Senate and GOP, White House is in the hands of Biden, the military relationship between US and various countries, specifically North Korea, the relationship between US and various other military players, the defense spending, and more importantly, the tax policies of Biden. So guys, there is no need to be very happy that if Biden is coming, and I really don't think that even if Biden is watching this video that he is having a magic wand, he just rotate the magic wand and everything will go in a nicest way. No, it's not like that. Even he needs to strive very hard to make sure that things will come to its own flavor. But once again, there are many things which are possible in books but not possible practically, and there are many things which are possible practically but not in the books. So it's really pretty interesting, and we need to see that how this shapes up. So To be honest, I would like to summarize this video in such a way that I really don't think that today markets are rising because people expect that Biden able to resolve all the issue. Okay, there are many people those might think in that direction. That is definitely their call. I am no one to argue with them. But going ahead, the road is really not easy for Biden as well. That's more important. And I think it is really tough for equity people and really tough for commodities people to going ahead. Because I feel that commodities would be more volatile than equities if Biden will continue to be in the picture. Vice versa in case of Donald Trump. But let's see, Treasury Consulting Hedge Fund Desk is completely ready and dedicated to what is going on in the US. And that's the reason that it's around 3:30 in the morning in Singapore and we are still live and we are completely evaluating, like as I speak, the Dow Jones is around 278 points up, Standard & Poor is around 3 points down, so flat, while Nasdaq is also down more than 100 points. And if I look at yesterday, it was like magic wand. So young guns, be careful. Have a good time. This is Rahul from Treasury Consulting. You know our WhatsApp 9818485155. In case you wanted to have any information about our paid programs, our video trainings, our audio trainings, our Skype trainings, treasury trainings, or any other certifications, or Mota Bhai Club or Senior Mota Bhai Club, you know the WhatsApp 9818485155. Have a great day.